What's cooking? What's popping? What's finger licking good? I don't know. Welcome to a video. Video. I don't know what I'm doing. Today we are looking at a camcorder. Yes, let me show you. It is. I gotta. Okay. This camera, you see it? You see? Okay. Let me calm down. It's just, be normal. Be normal, Brent. Be normal. So, this is the Sony Handycam CX240. 240. Look at that. Okay. And I'm gonna be basically reviewing this camera, talking about it, and we're gonna try to find out if this is a good budget camcorder at least. Right, so let's get started. Now, there exists a world, a very not well-known world, and it's called the world of camcorders, okay? Within this world, there exists a multiplicity of camcorders. Camcorders by several different brands, several different models, different sizes, different capabilities, different features. There's just a lot of different camcorders that exist, okay? You get my point? And so I recently have decided to enter into this world. And I've seen a lot of cool things. I'm sorry. All right. Relatively recently, I kind of discovered camcorders on YouTube, and I decided to purchase a handful. I've actually, I own like half a dozen right now. I just bought another one yesterday. Maybe I have a bit of a problem, maybe not, I don't know. But the first camcorder I bought is the Sony CX405, okay, which it's Sony, so the same brand. Okay, now the CX405 is known for being a good camcorder, a solid option for someone who wants not the best quality video or pictures, but just like a good camcorder that's fun. CX405 is a great option. But there exists another camcorder by Sony that's a very similar shape and size and weight, but a lot cheaper. That's the big difference. It's a lot cheaper, and that is the Sony CX240, which I have right here. Now this one's blue. My CX405 is black, but who cares? I mean, come on. This is not about race. I mean, come on now. So, look, over the past few days, I've played with this camera. I got it on eBay, just like I got my CX405 on eBay, and I've compared it to the CX405. And I've gotten to know this camera pretty well. And so now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna talk about the differences between the CX240 and the CX405 so that you can make a decision whether or not you wanna buy the CX405 or the CX240, because there's a big price difference. If you go on eBay, not just price difference, by the way. I know, at least as of right now, because I went on eBay the other day. If you Google the Sony CX405, you might be able to find like two or three listings on eBay. Maybe 4 or 5, it depends, but I can only find like 2 or 3 listings of this camera on eBay, and it costs like $350. Yeah, so, but if you search the Sony CX240, this one, you'll get like a dozen different results, if not more. And it costs right now, like as of right now, it costs, you can find it for about $110, $115 on eBay. And with, I'm not exactly sure if, it depends on what you can find, if it includes the charger, but you can find this camera for about $110, $115 on eBay, which is like less than half the price of the CX405. So that just begs the question, is the CX405, which I'm actually recording with right now, that much better than the CX240? Is it worth spending an extra, like, depending on $100 to $200 buying the CX405, or should you just opt for the CX240? We're gonna answer that question right now. Okay, so overall, this camera and the CX405 are pretty similar on the outside and overall, if that makes sense. But let's talk about the differences, because there are definitely some notable differences. So, first thing to note, which I guess is kind of a physical difference, although not technically, is that it has a 54 times clear image zoom compared to the 60 times on the CX405. Now, that's a 6 times difference. It's not really that big of a difference, but it is worth noting, I think. This camera doesn't zoom quite as closely as the CX405, which I'm not just going to call it the 405 because it's faster. Both cameras have 9.2 megapixels, and both cameras have, I think the lens on both cameras are the same, although this, if you look, this says 1,9/2,1:57. What that means, I don't exactly know, but the 405 says 1.8/1.9-57. So I think they're pretty much the same lens, but I guess they're slightly different. So that's maybe worth noting. Okay, but there's a few more differences I want to talk about. So one pretty big difference between the two cameras is that the CX240 will not shoot in XAVCS in that file format. The 405 can. Okay, so the 405 can shoot in MP4, AVCHD, and XAVCS, whereas the CX240 can only shoot in MP4 and AVCHD. Now, AVCHD is a pretty good file format. Does it really matter that it can't shoot in XAVCS? Like, that's debatable. I don't think it really matters that much. But it is nice that the 405 can shoot in that file format because it is a better format. But I will say, I don't think, for the average person who just wants like a fun camcorder to make videos with for fun, maybe take pictures with every now and then, I don't think that the file format difference is a reason to buy the 405 over the 240. So I'll just say that. So there's a couple more differences I want to point out. So another difference is that this camera will only shoot in 60 frames per second, 60i or 60p. I use it in 60p. So yeah, both cameras shoot in 1080. I don't know if I need to say that, but this will only shoot in 60 frames a second, whereas the 405 will shoot in 30 and 60. So that's worth thinking about. Personally, I shoot in 60 FPS. I'm shooting in 60 FPS right now, and so I don't really care that this doesn't shoot in 30 frames per second, but some people might. It's a preference thing. Some people like the look of 60 FPS better than 30. Some people like 30 better than 60. It just depends, but that is something to note, is that this will only shoot in 1080 60 FPS. And the 405 can shoot in 1080, 30, or 60. So that's another difference. Another difference is that you cannot adjust the shutter speed on this camera. So you can on the 405. Another difference, which I think is the last difference between the two cameras, is that when it comes to the image stabilization, the 405 has, I think, like 3 different modes. The CX405 has an intelligent active image stabilization mode, whereas the 240 only has an active image stabilization. So I think basically what that means is the CX240 has slightly worse image stabilization than the 405. And that's one thing the 405 is known for, is like it has great image stabilization. So yeah, the 240 just has, I think it has like 2 different modes. It's like, but active is the best image, like the strongest image stabilization effect that you can set on the 240, whereas the 405 has an intelligent active as well as an active mode. So basically the 405 has it can have a bit of a stronger image stabilization effect compared to this camera. Now, does that really matter that much? I don't think so, but what we're going to do is I'm going to record with the 405. I'm going to record some various shots low light shots, some moving shots, and just some different. I'm gonna record some different clips, and then I'm gonna also record clips with this 240, and we're gonna compare them. I'm gonna let you decide whether or not the footage looks noticeably different, or if they basically look the same. I guess the last thing that's worth talking about is the audio quality. The audio quality on the CX405, as you can hear, is pretty dang good. I mean, it's got, I think, great audio quality. It's not like the best you could ever imagine, but it's pretty dang good, especially for, you know, the size of the camcorder, and you know, the 405 has got good audio. And I think the 240 also has quite good audio. And I think they have the same kind of audio system. I think the audio sounds the same on both these cameras, like from what I could tell. But I'll let you decide that. So yeah, right now I'm gonna record some different clips. So what I'm gonna do is record a variety of clips, and each clip is gonna be about 10 seconds long. And so towards the end of each clip, I'm going to show on screen which camera the clip was shot with. So I'll just say CX405 or CX240. So that if you want, you can like try to guess which camera was being used, and you can see if there's actually a noticeable difference. So yeah, let's do that right now. Yo, quick clip here. You can hear the audio. I think it's, you know, both these cameras have good audio, but I'll let you decide that. So yeah, here we go. This is the CX405. Yo, another little test. I'm just holding the camera with my hand here, and this is what the audio sounds like. I think it sounds pretty good. This is the CX240. So yeah. Now here's a side-by-side comparison. I'm just holding both of them right now. I can see a bit of a difference, mainly just like in the colors. Here's a kind of a low light test here. There's really not much light in this room. And yeah. Walk over here. I think you can definitely see a difference. Question is, which one looks better? And one last test. It's actually raining outside. Shoot, I didn't know it was raining. Whoops. I'll just stand here. That's my mom in the background. Animals over there. Animals over there. So, there were the clips. What's the verdict? Well, I'm gonna leave you to decide which camera is better based on what you saw. My opinion is that the CX405 is a better camera than the CX240. I think it takes slightly better footage. I think the colors look a bit better, and I could be wrong, but I think it's a bit less noisy in low light, like just a little bit less, and I think that's because it records in the XAVCS file format. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's I don't know. But I personally prefer the 405. However, that doesn't mean you should buy the 405 over the 240. I think if you're trying to decide between these two cameras, you should definitely go with the CX240. And the reason why is because the CX240 gets the job done. That's my opinion. It gets the job done. Yes, there are more settings that you can change on the 405, like the frame rate, and maybe it has slightly better image stabilization, the file format thing. But like, I really think this is good enough. Like, this gets the job done. I don't think the difference is that big in terms of the footage you can get. I'm pretty sure the audio is identical, so that's not an issue. And there's a bit of a difference in terms of the zoom. The 405 zooms a little bit further, but the 240 still zooms pretty dang far. Like, it still zooms far. And so I personally think the CX240 is a better buy because you can just get it for so much cheaper, and it's also a lot easier to find. At least, I mean, you can find it on eBay easily. So it's easier to find. It's way cheaper than the 405. I think this is the better camera. All things considered, especially price, I think the 240 is the better camera. Now, again, that's all things considered. Like, just from a literal perspective, well, the 405 is better. You know, the CX405 is a better camera, but I'm saying all things considered, like I said, especially when you consider price, the fact that the 405 is like double the price of the 240, if not more. It's like, this is what you should get. Just buy this. I mean, this gets the job done, I think. Again, unless you care about recording and you really want to record 1080 30 FPS and you don't like 60 FPS for some reason, which, I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't, but then okay, maybe get the 405. But yeah, I mean, both cameras are really good cameras, I think. They're not like exceptionally incredible, if that even made sense. But they're both good, fun cameras. They're just fun. Yeah, that's why I like camcorders. They're just freaking fun. And it's like, they're just fun to play with. And yeah, it's just, I'm so glad I bought this too. Actually, I got this for dirt cheap. I paid $50 for this thing. Believe it or not, I'm not lying. I paid like $50 for it because it was untested actually. I bought it untested on eBay. So you might want to look out for that too. But it was a risk. I took the risk. It turns out it works perfectly. Also, I will say one more thing, a couple more things real quick before then I'll end this video, is I did notice it seems like the 240 doesn't focus as quickly, like the autofocus isn't quite as good as the CX405. So maybe that's also another difference. I didn't notice that until today actually when I was testing them. But yeah, but it doesn't, I don't think it has like trouble focusing. It's just like a bit slower maybe than the CX405. I don't know if, I'll have to look back at the clips and actually see, but that's something that I think I noticed. And one more thing that's worth talking about is battery life, which I didn't mention that. Battery life on both these cameras I think it's pretty much about the same. And both cameras have pretty good battery life. Now, there's something important that I think a lot of people just don't talk about when it comes to battery life, which is the battery life you get depends on the settings, okay? So on both of these cameras, you can set it to there's a battery power or power save mode, or I forget exactly what it's called. I think it's called power save. I think there's two different there's two different battery save modes, I think, or yeah, power save modes. So I put both of these on max. That's how I use them. I just put it to max, and what I'll say is if you set the battery or the power save mode to max, you get pretty good battery life. It's not amazing, but it's probably like, I think it's around 2 hours. I don't know exactly because I haven't like tested it to see exactly how long it'll last, but it's at least an hour and a half, if not 2 hours per battery. And if you have it on the max power save mode. So I would say battery life is pretty good. It's not great, but it's pretty good. And I think it's good enough. You know, I think it's good enough for most people at least. And you know, it's a good idea to carry a couple extra batteries. I think I have three total batteries, so they take the same battery. Yeah, that's the comparison video. I hope you enjoyed it. I try to make this a good video where I talk about everything, you know, all the important things, and then show you footage and compare the cameras. So I hope you got some out of this video. If you did, let me know in the comments. And yeah, like I said, I mean, for real, like it's actually kind of, I don't know. It's kind of crazy because, like, I mean, like I said, you can find these, like, a lot of them on eBay for pretty cheap. I mean, for pretty cheap. And like I said, I really think if you're looking for a camcorder, you don't have a camcorder, or you have like a really, really old crappy one, you want a camcorder that's decent. I think this one does the job. I think it does the job. You know, I mean, it's pretty inexpensive and it takes good video, I think, and good audio too. So it's like, there you go, boom, that's the answer. I mean, what more do you need, you know? If you're willing to spend a bit more money, you can get the CX405. It's also really good. Or if you can find the CX405 for really cheap, like I found it for under 200 bucks, then, you know, that's a decision you can make. I'm just saying, they're both great cameras. I think when you factor in price, this one's better. But it kind of depends on what price you can find them for, because that depends on, you know, you get what I'm saying. It depends. So that's it for this video, and I will see you. You like that? I'll see you in the next one. Peace. Oh, watch this again. I'm gonna do this. 3, 2, 1.